Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a short video, and in it I'm mainly gonna show you just a very small flip through this journal that I made for my best friend. My best friend Johan, who lives in Philadelphia, very far from me because I live in Florida. I always miss him so much. We have a lot of artistic things in common, and so I made this journal for him. I made it exactly like I think he would like it, and he did tell me that he wanted sort of like a teal blue, and although my intention was for the journal to be lighter, for the color to be lighter, it turned out to be a little darker than I thought, but I think it looks really nice, especially in person. It looks much better than in camera, and I did some gold accents and I added some book corners. I did one of those speed videos on my Instagram because Instagram does not let you put in videos that are too long, so it just you have to kind of speed it up. But you couldn't really appreciate the journal, and plus I hadn't finished the journal, but now it's done. So like I was saying, I did some embossing in here. Not embossing, stencil. I did some stencil, and this was my first time doing stencils. Like when I did this book, like the finish of the stencil is not quite as nice, but it's for my best friend and he doesn't really mind, so that's fine. And then here I did add a wooden frame, oval frame, and then I added this key for him. And on the spine I did hand paint this little vine here, sort of like to give it the same theme as in the front. Of course it's signed, and the back of the book, it's, you know, just hand painted. So it's all hand painted, and this book was made newsprint paper that's glued to the cover of a book, and the spine it's done with cardboard, and as you can see right there, so it's done with cardboard, and I glued two pieces of cardboard together so that it has the same thickness as the book spine, as the book cover. And I do attach it to the book covers with canvas fabric. So let's go inside. He loves nature themes, and overall he just likes a lot of nature and, you know, animals and insects and plants and things like that. I did dedicated the book for him here. I didn't add nothing here because I want him to, he's very artistic, so I want him to be able to personalize his book himself as much as he wants. I did add a few things. Now on the inside of this paper, for this paper I added belly band, and I added this jumbo tag. So the idea of this jumbo tag in here is the same idea as mine. For my jumbo tag that I use in my journal, I have written month, date, and mood, and I basically just use it as a log tag, and I log in the days that I go and journal in my journal. So for him, I added this jumbo tag and I put it in here because I want him to basically get the idea of using it that way if he wants to, but he could use it as whatever he wants to. He could just use it however he wants to. And in here he can maybe put a picture of himself, or a picture of his favorite nature his favorite animal, his favorite plant, whatever he wishes to put in there. I did add handmade paper. This one's got these little yellow petals that to me it looks like mango, but and I also added, I did this book similar to my book in the sense that I didn't coffee dye all the papers, and I added sketchbook paper so that he can sketch on it and basically is for him to use it as an all-around journal. And it does lay flat. So here I added a pocket for him. I did minimal decorations in the book, again, because I want him to be the one to sort of like personalize it as however he wants to. And then here I added a ledger paper. I did add a tab for him right here. I added a music paper. He plays the piano, so I thought it would be kind of cool to add a music paper. I did add some charms so that he can use throughout his book. This one is a moon, half of a moon. He also likes the occult and mystic things. It's very mystical. And again, just very minimal decorations here. I added this tuck spot for him, and there's a packet here on the back of this signature, and I did add scraps of the paper that I used throughout the book, so he can use the scraps when he journals. Here's another little charm that has a leaf. I added it here, but he can obviously move it around and use it however he wants to. I added handmade paper in between the signatures because, as some of you guys know, I don't like to see the gap in between, or not the gap, I don't like to see like the spine. And here I added some nature Tim Holtz paper. This paper is tea dyed, and I do like to sprinkle parts of the actual leaves of the tea so that it creates that really cool effect. And there's another packet here for him, more sketch paper, book paper. This is a paper that was sent to me on Etsy order, and the person really wanted to give me something that was related to me so I can journal with, and she sent me these book pages from I'm guessing it's from a book that talks about animals from Florida. So I added it here, and then here I did add this cute flap to the paperback for him. This very old wrinkly paper. I did some stamping on the pages, so I punched it with a star design because that's the only design that I have that's not too flowery. And then added more scrapbooking paper and line paper so he could write on it. And here again, more scraps of the papers used throughout the book so that he can go ahead and use them how he wants to. I did add some washi tape. He loves photography, so there's also photography theme paper here and washi tape. This is another signature, another paper bag, more sketchbook, more sketch paper. This right here is a pocket that I made for him, and coffee dye paper, casing bag, some writing paper. Here's another pocket and another charm here that says "Be kind." And here I did like a small tipping of scraps of that handmade paper. It's just basically, it's just blank pages. Here's an accordion you can use to add pictures. This opens here. Basically blank pages. Here's another handmade paper. book pages, and basically I just added scraps of paper. Here's another tuck spot and graph paper here, so that he could have different kinds of paper, and so that he can get ideas of how to use this paper for journaling. Here is a pocket, and here's another pocket, another accordion, handmade paper, and more Tim Holtz paper. This little charm here says believe. Another tuck spot, and just overall like added the scraps of papers throughout the book. The page from the book that was sent to me. She didn't send me the actual book, she just sent me a few pages. And then here is, oh, here's the tuck spot, is this way. So yeah, basically this is the book. I love this paper here. This is designer paper from, I bought it at Walmart, but they have it exactly this paper pad. They have it for $5, for $6 if you round it up, you know, for tax and stuff, on Amazon, so you can check it out there. I had this washi tape that has cameras, because he loves photography and he's actually a photographer. Then a pocket here. I guess that's his the job that he loves to do, but not the job that pays the bills. And then here, more of that handmade paper that I really, really love. Added some vintage paper. Again, not all the papers are coffee dye, because that way he can have different use for the paper. And then here is that paper with the photography theme for writing. This one, full paper, sketch paper, and the end. And in the end, I did add a pocket for him in the end, in the, you know, the last, in the back cover, and more scraps of paper. So basically that's it. This is the book. And the way I added my my binding, my closure was very particular. I forgot I had attached, I was always gonna add binding to this book, but I forgot it, and I attached, you know, I glued this paper down, and I was like, okay, I'll just put it here. And I have one smaller and one longer. So the way I use it is I wrap the biggest one, I wrap it around the book in the back, bring it to the front, go one more. See, I got one more again, and the other one that's shorter is still here, so I can just use it. And I kind of like this way of doing it. I thought it was a mistake, but it turned out to be a nice mistake, because I kind of like the way it looks. And so yeah, this is the book that I made for my best friend. I also made this book for another friend. Her name is Maya, and I don't particularly know exactly all her taste and the things that she really loves, but I know her favorite color, her longtime favorite color is blue. I know she likes things like fantasy, like dragons, and she reads a lot of YA novels. When I created this book, I was not thinking of a dragon, but then when I did the stenciling, I thought, oh, this looks like dragon scales, and it kind of shimmers also because I added on the lighter parts, I added it's called acrylic, let me see, acrylic opal magic aqua rose, and it's this paint by Prima. She doesn't really care much for a lot of, you know, embellishments and stuff like that, and lace and, you know, things of that nature. But I did add a bit of, you know, embellishment. You know, if she doesn't really like it, she can always take it off, because even though it's glued down, you know, it's, I don't, you know, I think that there's always a way. When you're crafty, there's always a way to get around to doing things and making things look the way you want them to. So in this book, this is how I did the inside of the book. I did add some lace, but as you can see, it's very, very subtle, and it's a very thin lace, so it shouldn't bother her too much. I added handmade paper. This handmade paper, it's I've had it for a while, but I've never used it, and so I decided to go into my stash of handmade papers and, you know, find something different. And I added that. I did add it for her, the same as for my friend Johan, a packet, like a belly band. She loves maps, so I incorporated lots of maps around, and I added this tag for her. This one, it's a jumbo tag that I kind of trimmed in the bottom, so to make it fit in the book, because this book is a little bit smaller in size. And in here, on the other side of this page, I attached this map, and it is a deep packet for her to add whatever she wants in there. I did add ledger paper. She did tell me that she was kind of like bored of having journals that had the same paper, so she wanted different kinds of paper in her journals. And so I did add as well sketch paper, because she does sketch. She sketches a lot as well, so she's very artistic. She can sketch and she can write. I added graph paper. I added coffee dye paper. This is line paper here. I added some charms for her with the sea theme in mind, because I call this book the Sea Dragon. So I added this here, scraps of the paper that I used throughout the book, and it is a mini tuck spot right there, kind of ripped, but that's fine. So yeah, and there's a packet here, and for her I did punch some lace design, because, well, she's a girl, so, well, she's not a girl anymore, but you know what I mean, she's a female, so I wanted to give it a little bit of more a feminine touch. I added some washi tape, and these are florals washi tape, but they're very tiny, so it's not too much, because she doesn't really like florals that much. But I did add this other grungy type of washi tape around for her. Whereas there's another one over here. This other one that's more of like a vintage look. Oh, there's one here too. And so basically, yeah, that's what it is. This is also handmade paper, and it's got some gold dragons with blue flowers. Vintage paper. This is scraps of the paper I've been using, and she can open it like this and journal in it. More ledger paper, coffee dye paper, sketchbook paper, and this, it's really cute. This paper is from Graphic 45. I think that's the name of it, Graphic 45. And here is this is a fabric doily. I really love these fabric doilies, and it is a pocket here. So here this flips out, and it kind of makes that bulging here, but it's meant to be like this anyway, even though it flips out. So it's just a mini tuck spot, but not really. It's just a decoration that I made with scraps of the paper and some of the ribbon that I used throughout the book. Coffee dye paper, ledger paper, coffee dye paper, and more coffee dye paper. This is line paper, sketchbook paper. I added some pieces of maps throughout the book, and she can just use them as she pleases. I didn't want to decorate this book too much because I wanted her to be able to feel like she can personalize her book to her taste. And this is the other side of that vintage looking paper. It's really pretty. She's also a writer, so I incorporated somewhat of, you know, not literature, but a writer's theme. And this coffee dye paper looks very pretty with that beautiful lace puncher. More of the same paper throughout. Oh, it's attached to here. Okay, gotta be more careful. This one is also Graphic 45 paper. This very grungy looking paper here. So she's got quite different types of paper throughout. Another pocket here. She's got quite a few pockets that are already put in place. This is another map. She loves Korean culture, so I added this handmade paper that's got the Korean alphabet, the Hangul, and more of the same kind of paper. This is a vintage looking paper that I purchased at Hobby Lobby. They sell it in packs. More. Oh, and these are some scraps of the doily that I added here.
Hi, Mommy. Hi, baby.
Hi, baby. Baby came to the room. Another map here for her. More of the same that you've already seen. Another map here for her to use as she likes. And yeah, more of the same, the Hangul handmade paper. This is another pocket. This is newsprint paper that I added for her. Another charm here. This is another map. It's very pretty. So basically, yeah, it's a very blank book, but here's another packet at the end, and this is the end of the book. And that's it. So yeah, basically it's a very blank book. It's a little bit more, I would say it's a little bit more decorated than my friend's Johan's, because I did add, you know, some lace throughout the book, just a little bit, but it's basically the same. I did add more charms for her because I think charms are like jewelry. Really pleased with how this book came out. I didn't attach the seam binding in this book. I kind of like the way it looks like this, wrapped around. I just really like how it looks. And the only thing I need to do to this book is add my signature, which I forgot to add my signature. I was very much into the cover and adding the signatures. So yeah, so this is the book I made for Maya. So that's it. This is all I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, I hope I'll see you guys here next time. And until then, stay safe. Bye bye.